Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, and we are really happy that you've joined us. So let me start with introducing our founder and CEO of Azad Teaching and Learning, Mr. Samad Samadov.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. So to be honest, it's kind of the regular thing for us, to say hello, everyone, to people, to teachers from different parts of the world, because we're really busy with a lot of stuff online. I mean, different international events like webinars, courses, master classes. We do that almost every week, and I'd say even several times a week. So I'm really happy again to have you all, and we see that there are participants already from several countries, and we're really happy that our job actually let's say has this influence that we can attract people for their benefits in terms of delivering different kind of things which will definitely help them to spend their summertime as productive as possible. And today our next webinar, free webinar for you all, and I do hope that you will get as much as possible from this webinar. Eva, and welcome again.
Yeah, actually, I can see that we have so many countries and so many comments. So hello, Ukraine. Hello, Uzbekistan. Elmira Tajibaeva. Hello, Kazakhstan. Guys, it's so wonderful. Hello, Switzerland. Hello, Indonesia. Hello, Ecuador, Baku. Lviv, Ukraine. Oksana Litvinska. I'm really happy to see you here. Yeah, great. Ukraine, Nadia Shevchenko. So Parvina Ivazova, I'm really happy to see you here. Uzbekistan, great. So guys, for those who don't know us, I'd like to share some kind of short presentation just to let you know who we are and what we do. Okay. Yeah, as far as you know, we're a multinational company. For today, we have several official representatives. So as far as you know, the headquarters is in Baku, Azerbaijan, but we've already signed several contracts. So we have our official representative in Turkey. As you can see, we have representatives in Russia, in Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Iran, Georgia, Ukraine, and also you can see that coming soon note, now we are negotiating and we are going to sign a new contract, and soon we'll have our official representative in Panama. So if you guys would like to represent our company, it's okay just simply to let us know. You can write your letters or email to our email address, sr.teachingandlearning@gmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to start our cooperation with you. Okay. Also, we'd like you to know that we established a strong partnership with Lexica Lab in the UK, and I'm pretty sure that you know these guys like Andrew Walkley and Hugh Dollar, because they are those people who wrote those wonderful books like Teaching Lexically, Outcomes, Innovations, and the last one was Roadmap for B1 level. The next idea is that our company provides different kind of courses and certification. The first one is TESOL qualification, but actually due to the coronavirus and all that stuff, we can't deliver any offline courses, so we have online courses. The next one is going to happen on the 20th of July. It will be International IELTS Instructor course, and it will be run by Samad Samadov exactly. So the registration is open now, and after this webinar, you will get the follow-up email, and you will get all the information you need just in case you would like to participate in that course and to get a certificate of the International IELTS Instructor. Also, we have short courses like 6-8 hours, workshops for 2 hours, and I'm really happy to share the news with you because yesterday we had a wonderful international workshop teaching online on collaborative platforms where We had participants from, as you can see, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, the UK, Georgia, Panama, Uzbekistan, Russia, and Morocco. So next time when we have our next workshop, we'll be more than happy to have you as our participants. And actually, what we are going to have today it will be the webinar on the topic IELTS exam myth and truth. And as you can see, we are going to reveal lots of secrets. Yeah, and let me introduce our today's speaker. Sorry, this is Mr. Farhad Mollaee. I'm pretty sure that he will share lots of wonderful things with you. Yeah, just some kind of technical issues. Sorry. It sometimes happens. What to do?
No worry.
No worries. Yeah, actually, it's freezing a bit. Yeah. Mr. Samad, can you just let us know about our company more while I'm dealing with all those problems?
To be honest, the main target of our company is to kind of care about you teachers' professional development, and we organized, and we've been organizing actually a lot of stuff, to help teachers across the globe to develop their professional abilities. So I think that Mr. Farhad Mollaee is here now with us, and so
Hello, Mr. Farhad. How are you today?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to webinar. I'm very happy to see you here, and I hope to see you safe and sound. I'm at your service. When can I start?
Yeah, you can start. Yes, please.
Already, so go ahead. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm waiting for your presentation. Yeah, could you put it in the presentation mode? Yeah, great. So everything is okay. You can start. I'm here next to you just in case. Okay, let's get started.
Thank you. Thank you. So our webinar tonight is myths and truths. So let's go to IELTS. Let's see what it is. What is IELTS? What is it designed for? The first point is this. It's skill-based, the exam. And it assesses language proficiency. It's a proficiency test. And it assesses the language ability of people who intend to study or work in an English speaking country. If you see the CFR here, you can see the IELTS from band 9 to band 4. The levels. So tonight we want to talk about the challenges of these 4 skills: speaking, listening, and reading and writing. First we want to start with receptive skills and talk about their challenges. But before that, let's see the band score of IELTS. As you can see here, we have 9 bands here. Band 9 expresses the expert user. Band 8, very good user. 7, good user. 6, competent user. And number 5, modest user. Number 4, limited user. Number 3, extremely limited user. Number 2, intermittent user. Number 1, non-user. And 0 did not attempt the test. But let's go to IELTS Academic and IELTS General, GT training. It divides into 2 parts, the exam. So speaking of academic one, those who want to study at undergraduate or postgraduate levels, or they're seeking professional registration, they take part in academic one. But those who want to take part in general training, I mean, the GT, they want to migrate to an English-speaking country like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and UK. It's all probably some who take part in GT exam, they wish to train or study at a below degree level. So as I told you before, we start with receptive skills, I mean listening and reading. We want to see them one by one and discuss the challenges that test takers or testees face. Again, listening is divided into 4 parts. I mean, section 1, 2, 3, and section 4. There are 40 questions, the same as reading. I can say that section 1, there was a conversation between 2 speakers, and the topic is social or a semi-official. The second one, I mean, the section 2, there was a talk by a single speaker based on a non-academic situation. Whereas the section 3 and section 4, section 3, there is a conversation with up to 4 speakers based on academic topics. It's or course-related situations. And section 4, a university-style lecture or talk, which takes something about 5 minutes something to 6 minutes. Just to try to briefly talk about these receptive skills. About a reading, as you can see here, the words, something between 1,500 to 2,000 words, 3 texts. And something, it takes about 60 minutes, the same as listening, but there is a difference between these two parts. I mean, for listening, at the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer the answers. But for reading test, no, it's not going to happen. I mean, just 60 minutes, and you have 40 questions. And now we go to productive skills, speaking and writing. Speaking has got 3 parts. I mean, the first part, something about 4 minutes. Short answer questions, familiar topics. And the major reason is this, when the candidate enters the room, opens the door, as soon as, I mean, he or she opens the door, he or she might be stressed out. So there, the examiner asked short answer, I don't know, questions, I mean, familiar topics, then he or she gets better to continue part 2 and part 3. And part 3 is an individual turn. You receive cue card, and you have 1 minute, a pen or pencil to think about it. Questions. 1 minute. If you're waiting to write something, jot down something, then you can start speaking. And part 3, it's a kind of discussion. I mean, between you and the examiner, and it takes something between up to 4 to 5 minutes. Then we go to writing. For both general, I mean GT, and academic one, there are 2 tasks. I mean, the only difference in writing between academic and the general is task 1. I mean, speaking of GT general training, the task 1 is letter writing. Again, it's got different types and different strategies and different challenges for IELTS candidates. For task 2, which is more important, they're the same. We have the essay writing, like discursive, and different types, which I'm going to introduce tonight, and see the challenges. And the time is 60 minutes. I mean, 20 minutes goes to task 1, both GT and academic one. But 40 minutes goes to task 2. So let's see the skills now one by one and challenges and discuss them. I want to go to listening. As you know that the exam starts with listening. So in listening, it starts, I mean, it assesses with these points: understanding of main ideas, understanding of specific factual information, recognizing opinions, attitudes, and purpose of the speaker, and finally following the development of an argument. These points are going to be assessed in listening. But let's see the challenges of listening test. I divided into two parts again. I'm in the challenging list and the not to do list. Let's see one by one. So, following native speech, I'm in listening part. Um, the people who speak there, they're native speakers. They're generally speaking, they might have British accent, Australian accent, or American accent. So if candidates want to be comfortable with that, I mean, it happens. Some candidates say that uh, it was British accent, it was Australian accent. It was pretty hard to understand. So the suggestion is this: to listen to podcasts or watch and listen to news or see movies and practice. The second challenge is listening, reading, and thinking simultaneously. I mean, it's hard because, as you know, that the listening just plays one time and different types of questions in different sections. So it's getting hard for candidates to focus on listening at the same time. I mean, reading instructions, focus on what is it, writing the answers. It makes it hard for candidates. Third one is recognizing the information you need. You know that before the listening, on each part, you were given just some seconds to read the questions. So you have this opportunity, this chance to have a glance at the questions, see the blanks, or what information is needed there. I mean, the section one, maybe I don't know, a date, a number, or might be the name of a place or a town, something. So you can guess, you can anticipate. And another problem or challenge is keeping up with the questions, because again, I'm saying it plays just one time. It I mean, the candidate or candidates might be under pressure. I mean, to follow the questions, and it's highly probably that you focus on one question and you're not pretty sure about the answer, so you might face a dilemma. So if you just focus on one question when the listening is playing, it's highly probably that you miss other questions. So what we say is this: I mean, it is not worth. So one blank is just one mark. You can focus on other questions and keep on answering other questions. But not to do least, I mean, from number five, uh, don't forget anticipating and predicting. I mean, the time that you are given to read the questions before listening, it's great. You can predict, you can anticipate, you can guess, and don't lose your focus. As I said before, I mean, just don't focus on one question, and don't waste your time. If you don't want to lose other marks or more, please pay attention to distractors. I mean, it's how probably when you're listening to what the speaker is saying, um, at the very beginning, he or she might say something, and immediately uh, she says or he says the right thing. So, what I want to say, you have to pay attention to what happens there exactly, and see if it is, for instance, a multiple choice question. For sure, there are distractors, and we have to focus on more than the answer, because they might seem right and we choose the wrong answer. Um, don't forget to listen to instruction. It's really, really important, very important. Um, Please read the instruction carefully or listen to instruction carefully. You might need there, I don't know, one word and a number, I don't know, two words and a number. So it's really important to listen and read the instruction carefully and meticulously. This is highly suggested. Another challenge is spelling mistakes. We said that in listening tasks, at the end of the exam, you have 10 minutes. You are given 10 minutes to transfer the answers uh, to the answer sheet. So please don't be in a rush to write down something, because if there was a spelling mistake, you miss a point, you will be penalized. Or making grammatical errors. You can see here something. I put a piece of writing there because you're stressful, you're stressed out. So it's all probably that we make a mistake to write down the answer, like this one that you can see. They went there, but it should be they have gone there. So, or your, it is the contraction of you are, but we write then your. So it's grammatically wrong, and we miss a point. Another challenge is leaving blank answers. I've seen a lot that the candidates, the test takers, when they don't know the answer, they leave a blank. Even if you're not sure, it doesn't matter. Write something, because it's not a problem when you're transferring the right answer to your answer sheet. Um, you write the right answer in the wrong place. I'm in the blank. So be careful. So don't write and the answer sheet. Again, you have 10 minutes at the end of the exam. I mean the IELTS listening. You're given 10 minutes to transfer the answers. So again, I'm saying, uh, don't be in a rush to write down the answers at the same time. It's completely wrong. So before, I mean, you can see the reading here, but before talking about the reading, I want to say something about the listening, something which is very important. And non-native speakers, those who don't speak, I mean, English, it's not their first language. Um, they've got problems with such things that I'm saying. Um, Something like pronouncing the the, because we don't have, or you might not have it in your native language. Um, Something like minimal pairs. Again, I'm saying about the listening. I'm not talking about the reading. Like think and sing. Like muff and must. Or I'm talking about the contractions. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish the difference between, for example, can and the contraction of cannot. I mean, can. Or ordinal numbers. I'm talking about the first part of speaking, listening. I mean, listening section one, because most of the time there you hear the numbers, the phone numbers, I don't know, the postcode, the zip code, the number of streets. Um, it's quite common that when we check the listening part of IELTS candidates, we see that they did the wrong thing there. I'm talking about the ordinal numbers. Um, Now I can talk about the reading. So in reading, these skills are assessed. And I want to say something. The reading test in IELTS, both academic and general one, it looks like a test of vocabulary, words. because in most of the parts, each part, you see paraphrasing, synonyms, words. So these skills are assessed: reading for gist, reading for main ideas, reading for detail, understanding inferences and implied meaning, recognizing writers' opinions, attitudes and purpose, and then following the development of an argument. For example, I want to explain something about recognizing writers' opinions, attitudes, and purpose. I'm going to introduce you uh, different types of questions in reading. But still, we have the challenges of the reading test. The first challenge is to deal with challenging text from a range of fields. You know, in reading test, in IELTS, both general and academic, I should say that it starts from easy to hard one to difficult one. And as I told you before, there are 40 questions. So it's not probably that the third text in reading, I'm talking about the academic one, it might be something specific, something about agriculture, something about business, something about a computer, or machines. Uh, the bottom line is this: the time is limited. I mean, in reading, time is our enemy because just you get 60 minutes. And again, I told you the difference between listening and reading. We said for reading, no time to transfer your answer, just 60 minutes. The third challenge is to know when to move on to the next question. Because in IELTS reading, the candidates faced with different types of questions in one text. I mean, it's all probably in one text, you faced three different types of questions. And it makes it hard for candidates to move from one type to another type. So it needs a lot of practice and concentration to be familiar with different formats and different types and know the strategies. I mean, how to switch from one strategy, one type to another type. So it takes time. Again, I try to explain number three and number four together to know the range of question types. Number five, to read instructions carefully. Again, the same as listening. It's highly recommended to candidates, IELTS candidates, to read instructions. It's so important. Again, I'm saying might be one word, two words, and a number, or no more than three words. If it is no more than three words, so it is one, two, three words. Again, I'm going to explain about number five more. It's so important. Again, to mention something about the range of question types. For example, again, in next slide, you're going to see the type of questions, something like yes, no, not given, and true, false, not given. Again, it's not probably that you ask, so what might be the difference between these two types? They're very close to each other. Another challenge is it's really a vocabulary test, so don't expect to understand every word. I mean, there are different strategies, different techniques. So the IELTS candidates shouldn't be worried about the words, and they shouldn't expect to know all the words. It's something impossible to read a text and to know all the words there. So there are ways to work on words and develop the knowledge of vocabulary and make it better. Number seven is how to complete a diagram, table, or summary. So we have the different types here. They're way different of each other. Again, as I told you, you have to know the strategy for each one. Sometimes they're very close to each other. Um, Number 8, to tell the difference between main ideas and supporting details. Again, I'm going to talk about it. I mean, the same that I told you. Yes, no, not given, and true, false, not given. To find a specific information, how we can find it. Long text, I'm talking about the academic one. All three, they are long text. We said something between 1,500 words to 200 words. And again, time is our enemy. Uh, some questions to identify the writer's opinion. I mean, when we're reading the text, some questions there, they refer to writer's opinion. To follow the key arguments. I mean, when we're reading the text, or when we are reading the questions, again, different types, different forms. So how we can find those keywords and how we can find them in the text. That they look or they seem really scary, speaking of reading, when you talk to candidates. To identify the writer's purpose. Again, candidates mix them up with writer's opinion and writer's purpose. They mix them up together. I mean, number 10 and number 12. Let's see the reading question types: sentence completion, summary, note table, flowchart completion, short answer questions, diagram label completion, multiple choice, matching information, matching headings, matching sentence endings, true, false, not given, yes, no, not given. Again, what I say here, it's really important to have a good knowledge of vocabulary, because in most of these types, something is common. They've got something in common. I mean, in most of the time, most cases, you have to paraphrase. I don't know. You have to look for synonyms. So it's important. I want to talk about yes, no, not given, and true, false, not given. The difference between these two. I mean, yes, no, not given contains the opinions, views, or beliefs of the writer, whereas the true, false, not given will contain the factual information. Again, I reiterate, it makes it hard. I mean, I have to come back to previous slide to mention these two. I mean, number 10 and number 12. To identify the writer's opinion, to identify the writer's purpose. They're very close to each other. Let's see one type. I mean, sentence completion. I want to introduce you one type uh, and see the tips, what the tips are about this type, this form of reading. And then the first one is check how many words it asks you to write. If it says no more than 2 words, you can write 1 or 2 words. If it says no more than 3, so you can write 1, 2, 3 words. Remember that numbers are written numerically, such as 72 count as 1 word. I mean, you can write 72, or it is just numerical like this. Or the word which is hyphenated, or words which are hyphenated, such as the state of the art, count as 1 word. So again, I highly recommend the candidates to read the instructions. It's very, very important. This there's a second tip. The second tip is sometimes the question will state using words from the text or from the text. In this case, you should only use words from the text and not change them or use different forms of the words. If it doesn't say this, then you're allowed to change the words as long as the meaning is the same. I mean, if you have to change the words, it's all probably that I don't know. You might need a verb there, and you have to add third person singular s to that one. So let's see the third one. The answers appear in the same order as the questions. Still, I'm talking about the sentence completion tips. For example, the answer to number 1 will be above number 2, and the answer to number 3 will be below the answer to number 2. It might seem really easy, but when candidates take part in the exam, but it is the exam time, you forget these easy tips. But these easy tips are very practical and helpful. Number 4, the tip is remember that your answer should be grammatically correct. Check the type of word that fits in the space. If you're supposed to complete, still talking about the sentence completion, we can guess, we can anticipate that we need a verb, we need a noun, we need an adjective. Again, if we're supposed to change the word, again, it should have the same meaning, but it's important. Like this, is it a verb, noun, adjective, or adverb? Number 5, when scanning for your answer, make sure you're thinking about paraphrasing and synonyms. So, you know that when you're scanning, you're looking for specific information. We need to paraphrase. We have to use synonyms. We have to look for synonyms. For number 6, find where the answer is located in the text before you try to answer the questions. Remember where before what. Again, I'm saying, remember where before what. And the last one, read the questions before reading the text. I see that a lot of candidates take part in the IELTS. Unfortunately, they go to the reading text. I told you we have 3 long passages. When you start from the beginning to the end, you forget. So first, we start with questions. We read the questions and we work on them. Like this part, we said we focus on the blanks and we try to find out what part of speech is needed there. I don't know, verb, adjective, or adverb. If it's supposed to change. If not, so we try to find the location of what we're looking for. Let's see the strategies. Reading instructions carefully, noting how many words you can write, and if they want you, and if they want you to include the exact words from the question or not, we explained. The second one, read the incomplete sentences first. Think about what word form can be used and try to predict the answer. Again, I'm reiterating, I'm repeating. Think about the keywords. How they could represent it by synonyms or paraphrasing. Again, repeating. Locate where the information is located by scanning quickly. If you can locate the answer quickly, move on. Again, I'm saying each passage 20 minutes, 60 minutes for reading. Don't focus on just one question. It is not worth. You don't miss anything, just one point. Reading incomplete sentence again, and study the reading text more carefully to establish the answer. Please check your spelling. I say again, because we are in a rush, just 60 minutes, it's how probably you write it wrong, or the spelling might not be correct. So do the same thing with other sentences. I'm talking about one type, sentence completion strategy. I come back to a previous slide. You have the tips here. You see, something which is common with the tips and strategies. You can see the overlap here. Um, I want to give you an example of sentence completion. As I told you, synonyms and paraphrasing, they're really important. You can see this example, words in questions, about 1900. So words in reading text, the early years of the 20th century. Records date from, begin keeping records. Intensive burst of energy, explosive release of energy. So when we are scanning the text, so we look for information, we look for synonyms. Um, so recognize at a younger age, identified early, or growing international importance, increasing global participation. Aims to develop power, focuses on increasing power. Inadequate diet, deficiency, deficiencies and minerals. Links to, can lead to. Current knowledge is basic, our understanding is fundamental. By showing you this slide, I try to express the importance of synonyms and paraphrasing. We want to go to productive skills. We will start with speaking and then we go to writing. In a speaking skill, which might seem easier than other skills, um, which I personally believe it's not like that. I mean, some candidates think that, okay, speaking is easy. We're going to talk there. It's not going to be hard. But it is because there are criteria for both speaking and writing, both productive skills. So let's see what are assessed. I mean, what skills are assessed here. First, a wide range of speaking skills are assessed, including the ability to communicate opinions and information on every topics and common experiences and situation by answering a range of questions. Second one is the ability to speak at length on a given topic, using appropriate language and organizing ideas coherently. Our next one is the ability to express and justify opinions and to analyze, discuss, and speculate about issues. But if you let me just, I want to show you the challenges of the speaking test, and then I want to come back to a previous slide to talk about those points more. So the challenges might be coming face to face with your examiner, demonstrating what you are capable of in 15 minutes, focusing on the right things. I'm going to talk about it more. So let's come back to skills. About the first one, I should say that, as we said at the very beginning of the session, that speaking has got three parts. And the first part, it takes about 4 minutes. Uh, so the examiner is going to ask candidates um, familiar topics to put him or her at ease to get rid of that stress. Unfortunately, I have to say that some candidates can't control that stress, or they try to memorize answers. I want you to keep it in mind that examiners are trained for that point. So please don't memorize, I don't know, script or something. The second point or second strategy is this: don't worry about the examiner's opinion about what you're saying. examiners are not concerned with candidates' opinions. So you don't need to be worried about what you're saying. That if examiner uh, agrees with your opinion, likes your opinion, or disagrees, or he or she doesn't like your opinion or attitude about that topic. Another point is try to speak at length. Um, so don't just say yes, no, or very short answers. You need to extend what you want to say. I'm going to talk about this more, but something that I was thinking, and most of my candidates, they're worried about their accent. They say, "Is accent important? Does it matter?" And the answer is this: no, the accent is not important. The important thing is fluency and accuracy. In other words, this is what I heard and what I say. Accent looks like, I mean, something which is luxurious. If you have it, it's fine, it's good. If you don't have it, it doesn't matter. So try to be fluent and accurate when you speak, when you talk. Um, so I'm going to talk about the third one. You should be able to express your opinion, justify what you're saying. I mean, just saying something is not enough. I'm talking about the second part and third part of speaking. The same as writing, when you say something, you need ideas to support what you said or justify your reasons. Just saying something, mentioning something is not enough. Again, if you're sure, so based on a research or something, so you can give the reasons. If you're not sure, so try to speculate, try to guess and talk and extend your speaking. I want to come back to the next slide. So you can see the photos here. You saw them before in previous slides. So we see the first one from left to right. You can see the candidate and the examiner. I mean, there you can see the, I don't know, the ID card, the passport, something. As you enter the room and you sit and you start speaking. So for second one, just here or there, I mean, a cue card and some questions, you have to think for 1 minute and write down something if you're feeling and then start speaking. And after the second part, I mean, the questions continue and the examiner and you kind of talk and discuss together. Something else. I mean, some candidates, when it's the speaking test for IELTS, they ask me if it's okay to use big words, complicated words. We don't recommend because if you use the complicated words, expressions, or big words, it's not probably that you make an error, you make a mistake, and what you're saying in that situation might not be right or true. So you miss. I mean, you lose a point. You will be penalized for that. Again, I'm emphasizing, please extend um, what you want to say. Like, again, I said, give examples. I don't know, explain it. Why you agree or disagree, or why you support that idea, or why you go for that idea. Or giving concession. I mean, showing the opposite side of the argument. Another point is try to use feelers when you talk. It helps you to think for a short while, not for a long time. I'm not talking about the pausing. Pausing for a short while, it shows that you're thinking. Try to use some expressions when you're speaking. Like, I can say it's very difficult to do something, but perhaps, or you can say that's uh, a difficult question. Let me think. I don't know for a second, for a moment. Again, you can use the fillers. Try to take this opportunity. You can use this strategy. Um, Another strategy or technique is if you're not sure about something, I mean, a question that you might not be sure about the answer. So don't be afraid to take a moment to think about it. But again, I'm not talking about a long pause, a short one. Again, a very important point. Don't I mean do correct yourselves. Do correct yourself. Don't be afraid of uh, correcting your mistakes. There is nothing wrong with it. It shows the examiner that you are aware of what you're saying. If there is something wrong grammatically, so immediately you correct yourself. So you can do it. Don't miss the point. Another one is don't consider grammar versus fluency. Again, I say do consider grammar versus fluency. What I want to say is this some candidates are too much worried about the grammar, and this stops them from a natural pace. Don't do it, please. So just that they don't speak at a natural speed and natural way. When they're speaking, just they're thinking about the grammar. What they are saying is grammatically wrong, or no, it's true. So don't, please. Because we are working on, or we're discussing the productive skills, and we have a lot of challenges here. We want to see the criteria. When a candidate talks in different parts of speaking, uh, these are the criteria. We focus on speaking. What are your scored on? Fluency and coherence. Fluency means the speed of speech and pausing. Remember, I was saying something about a grammar. And coherence means the ability to develop answers and connect ideas. The same as writing. I mean, what you say, your ideas should support each other. I have two tips for you here. Speaking quickly is not speaking fluently. Do not make a mistake, please. Some candidates think if they speak fast, it shows that they are fluent to examiner. No, it's not. It's highly likely when you're speaking fast, um, you use the wrong stress intonation. So try to speak at a pace that you find comfortable. Second tip is this: pause before answering to give you time to formulate your response. So the first criteria is fluency and coherence. I mean, this is the first point that the examiner is considered when you talk. Second one is lexical resource, accuracy and range of vocabulary. Accuracy means using the right terms and expressions. Remember, I was talking about the using big words, complicated words and expressions. I said if you're not pretty sure, it might not be correct to use it in that situation. It might be wrong. I'm talking about the range, using a sufficient range of vocabulary to deal with a range of topics. I mean that before taking part in the exam, you can practice. I mean, there are different questions. I mean, for speaking, different topics, and you have to be aware of the words which are related to different topics. I mean, if the topic is about global warming, it is expected that the candidate should be familiar with words and expressions which are related to global warming. Um, I don't know, different types, like greenhouse gases. I don't know, the problem with ozone layer, uh, the consequences of global warming, something like flooding, I don't know, natural disasters. So we expect that you know the words which are related to different topics of speaking. The tips are this: when you don't know a word, find another way to express it. Um, you can explain, you can talk about it. There is nothing wrong with it. It's the exam time, exam day. Because of stresses, you might forget the word or words or that expression. So no problem, no matter. Explain, talk about it. And don't try to force high level vocabulary. Again, something that I want to say about words, I mean, this is a formal session. I mean, you have to use formal words and expressions. So colloquialism, slangs are not accepted. We don't recommend to use these words and expressions in IELTS speaking. Another criteria is grammatical range and accuracy. Accuracy means using grammar correctly. It's not a problem that when you're asked a question, I mean, task two, uh, you have to talk about something or you have to use different tenses, like a story, something might be. So we have to use variety of past tenses at the same time. So it's important to use them correctly. A range, using a sufficient range of grammar to express meaning. This is what I'm telling you. Or something about the future, so we can use present simple, present continuous, or present progressive. We can use to be, going to, will. Um, so don't miss the points. Not just one tense or two tenses. Let's see the tips. The examiner is not listening out for errors. I mean, when some candidates enter the room, they might say, "Gosh, the examiner is looking at me differently. I think he or she's waiting for my errors. I mean, to open my mouth and say something wrong." No, it's not. So focus on demonstrating rather than avoiding mistakes. And the second tip is this: careful not only to use simple grammatical structure. We often do this in everyday speech. It is not necessary to say, "Okay, tomorrow I'm going to use complicated structures," because you haven't practiced enough. Again, it's probably that you make errors when you're speaking. Another point, or the last one I think about speaking, is pronunciation. Consists of individual word pronunciation, link speech sounds, sense stress. Remember I said about speaking fast? It's highly likely that you put the stresses on wrong part of the word or sentence, so the meaning changes. Intonation, rising and falling. It's so important. When you're speaking and talking, your speaking and talking shouldn't be monotone. I mean, it's the speaking. It's your best time. Try to show your enthusiasm and interest in speaking. Do your best. Let's see the tips. Your accent is not assessed, so no need to try to sound American or British. You don't have to. I told you about the accent. Speaking clearly and with expression is a good way to demonstrate your pronunciation. Again, I'm saying don't make a mistake. Speaking of expressions, we're talking about formal words and expressions, not the slangs and informal words and expressions. So, last step, you will be nervous, but try to avoid speaking too quickly. Again, your natural pace, your natural pace. Don't speak too quickly, please. This is the speaking band descriptors. I put part of it for you. You can see that fluency and coherence, band 9, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. You can download the band descriptor. It's available on the net. I want to go to writing. Let's see what skills are assessed here. It might be the most scary. I mean, the scariest. Uh, what is it? The scariest skill, writing. Most of the candidates are afraid of it. They say it's pretty hard, extremely hard. It's out of reach. But no, it's not. It's not at all. Think, focus on strategies and tips and practice. You can overcome. The writing. Let's see what R says here. The content, the organization of ideas, the accuracy and range of vocabulary and grammar. We want to see them one by one and work on it. Again, I explained, I told you the writing part in both academic and GT. Task two, they're the same. They're not different of each other. Essay writing. It's the most challenging part for candidates. Again, because of different types and different strategies that candidates have to take to achieve writing. But about the task one, the GT is letter writing. Again, it has different forms and different types. Like letter writing, writing the letter of complaint. Again, speaking of writing, there might be, the formal. I'm talking about the task one, letter writing. GT might be semi or semi-formal or informal. I'm speaking of writing, but mostly um, formal ones. Tonight, we can focus and talk about task one. Both GT and academic. We try to focus on the second one because it's the most important one, and it's really challenging. Let's introduce some types. There are 5 here. First one is opinion essays. Number 2 is discussion essays. And number 3 is problem solution essays. Number 4 is advantages, disadvantages essay. And number 5 is double question essays. Each one has got its own challenges and a strategy or strategies. Let's see the challenges of the writing test. Generally, knowing the requirements of the tasks, producing good quality writing under pressure, demonstrating awareness of a reader's needs, getting the level of formality right. Again, I'm saying, especially the second task, it is completely formal essay writing. About the first one, just the minimum is 150. I'm talking about both academic and general, 150 words. About a second essay, I think it's more, and starts from 250, I think. Let's see the criteria of writing. I have to introduce them to you and talk about it. Task achievement. In both task one and task two, especially the task one, if there are 3 questions, so what you write, or even about the task two, what you write completely should answer the question. Task achievement, have you completed the task fully? Have you reached the minimum word count? For task two, is there a clear position throughout your essay? Let's see the tips. For task one, don't add your opinion. Don't try to describe anything. Here, it refers to task one, academic one. I don't know, pie chart, table, graph, line graph. So different types. We don't add our opinions there. There is no I. It's completely false. For task 2, introduce different viewpoints, not just your own. Ensure you give a final answer to the question. Practice writing different essay types. Do the advantages, for example, of X outweigh the disadvantages? Discuss both views and give your opinion. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Identify the causes and solutions of X. The second criterion is cohesion and coherence. Cohesion here refers to how ideas in a text are connected. Like a chain, the ideas should be connected to each other. And for coherence, how ideas in a text are organized. I'm talking about the paragraphing. Don't miss the paragraphing, please. It's so important. The introduction, the bodies, and the conclusion. They should be clear. Now let's see some tips here. Show your ideas, how your ideas relate to one another using a range of cohesive devices, like linking words. It's so important to use coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions. I have to say something here about cohesion and coherence, especially the cohesion one. You know that speaking of writing and sentences, there are different forms and types. A simple sentence. You can talk about the compound sentence, complex sentence, and compound and complex. So the last one is the best one. And we use coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions and join them together. But again, don't forget, if you use them wrongly, so you might miss a point. Second tip is use a study partner to give you feedback on these aspects. So what aspects? We're talking about the cohesion and coherence. They're often difficult to notice in your own writing. I don't know, a teacher, a friend of you who can help you, who's good at English and can help you. And another tip is read good quality writing. If you see the books by Cambridge, the test books, from number 1, I think, to number 15, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of those tests, you can see the sample ones. Some of them, they have been writing, or they have been written by, the examiners. They suggest those samples. Try to read them. And don't forget the tips or the examiner's points about that piece of writing. You might face, or you might have the same problem or same mistake. So try editing someone else's writing. If you have a friend, if you want to take part in the exam, you can give feedback to each other. So the last but not the least one, it's lexical resource, range, the range of vocabulary you're able to use, complexity, the level of vocabulary you're able to use. I'm going to show you something about this one. It's really nice. Some slides ahead of us. And then accuracy or appropriacy, using the right word in the right way, with the right spelling. Again, I see the last one, using the right word in the right way with the right spelling. Let's see the tips. Rather than repeating words, try to use synonyms. For example, discuss, argue. Or try to use pronouns. Debate. Can all be synonyms of talk about. Try to demonstrate you're able to high level of vocabulary, as a big group could be changed to a significant number of people. But remember not to use vocabulary you are not familiar with. Again, I'm repeating, using the right word in the right way with the right spelling. It really matters to examiner. And let's see the last one, grammatical range and accuracy. Range, the range of grammar you're able to use. Remember, we were talking about the connectors, coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions. We're talking about compound complex sentences. And next is accuracy, again, appropriacy, using the right grammar structures in the right way. It depends on the topic. I mean, what you're writing. Is it referring to future? I don't know, present, past, if you're not sure about it. So let's see the tips. Ensure you use a range of grammatical structures. For example, in task 1, use different tenses. Again, for example, present perfect. In task 2, use different sentence structure. For example, although, it's a subordinating conjunction. And get someone to check your writing for grammatical mistakes. Now and again is okay, but frequent is not. I mean, do it sometimes, but not frequently. Errors which impact understanding are penalized more heavily. It's how probably that you make a mistake or you make an error in that piece of writing. Like, what is it? A third singular S, but if it is the tense something, or if you use one of the coordinating conjunctions or subordinating conjunctions wrongly, it really matters. So you will be penalized more. Let's see an example. Remember I told you something about the words and the grammar? Imagine this is the topic of your task 2. The internet has dramatically altered our lives over the past few decades. Although some of these changes have been negative, the overall effect of this technology has been positive. What are your opinion on this? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant example from your own knowledge or experience. Write at least 250 words. So I'm going to show you some parts of the text which is analyzed and has got 3 bands, +5, 6, and +7. It's really interesting. It's going to be my last slide. So let's see. I'll put some here for you. See the sentence 1. The internet has dramatically changed our lives in recent time. This is band 5 for this sentence. See the band 6, you can see the differences and you can feel it. I believe that we can feel when we talk about the words or the grammar, the structure. You can feel it here completely. I mean, you can feel them. The internet has caused dramatic changes in our lives in recent years. Now let's see 7+. The internet has brought significant changes to our lives in recent years. Another example, sentence 2. But people who still disagree about whether the effect of the internet has been good or bad, band 6. However, there is still some disagreement about whether the overall effect of the internet has been good or bad, band 7. Yet, you see, yet is a coordinating conjunction. Yet, there remains some disagreement as to whether the overall effect of this technology has been positive or negative. There is sentence 3, and this is the last example. First, most people would agree that the internet has improved the way we communicate. Firstly, first is a kind of enumerator. Firstly, most people would disagree that the internet has greatly improved the way we communicate. And you can read band 7 for that sentence. What I again say here, you can feel. I mean, when we say the words, the structure, the grammar can change our band, you can see it here. You can see the structure, the sentences, and the words, and how they are different from band 5 to +7. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Farhad. It was really, I would say, practical. And actually, I can see lots of comments here. And we had several questions from our participants. But let me start with one wonderful comment. I'd like to show it. Yeah, United ESL Teachers of Uzbekistan. I'm really thankful to you for this comment. Yeah.
So,
It's like,
Eva, can I leave the presentation?
yeah.
Can I leave the presentation so I can
Yeah.
see the?
Leave the presentation, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we had several questions here. Let me find some of them. Yeah, guys, if
Yeah.
you have any questions, please ask us right now. Yeah, the first one is a question. Can you give some recommendations on how to improve all the skills?
I mean, in English, generally speaking, we say practice makes perfect. As I said, for instance, the speaking or the writing, uh, because we're talking about the productive skills, they sound more important to us and to candidates. Uh, so each type has got its own strategy and tips and challenges. I mean, it needs more practice. It's not easy. But again, I'm saying it's not average. Because of that, I chose the word myths and truths. Because some of the teachers talk and teach in a way that it's not hard, it's really easy. But as a matter of fact, it matters. It is hard. Some parts really challenging.
Mr. Samad, could you add something in this case?
So, yeah, I completely agree with Mr. Mollaee. The point is that the more language you know, the more comfortable you feel yourself during your exam. Of course, you should listen a lot, you should read a lot, you should write a lot, you should speak a lot. But there is no doubt that there are some special tips that you can implement when taking the IELTS exam. Of course, we cannot say all about, about all the tips over here, but again, practice makes it perfect. But to improve your skills, firstly, it will take some time, and apart from that, you should know, what kind of strategies you need to overcome the test. It's not just, you can, let's say, I'm really sorry for interrupting you, Mr. Mollaee. The point is that, you can be even absolutely fluent in the language, but your answer during the speaking test, let's say, won't be appropriate for the IELTS band description. You should know what you are going to be assessed with.
Yeah.
That is really very important thing. Let's say if they ask you where do you work or study, for example, if you say that I work, your answer is correct, but it's not enough.
Yeah, the same as I want to add something again. I repeat what I said before. What you say should be extended. Should be extended. Just saying, as you said, just yes, no, short answers is not enough. Again, maybe the words and expressions that I use are not formal words and expressions. Maybe it's not answering the question. So I'm talking about the task response.
Right.
Yeah,
Speaking.
okay. Thank you. So we have another question, like, should we take IELTS exam to prepare candidates for exam itself? So what do you think? Should instructors take IELTS exam before preparation?
The IELTS instructor, I didn't get it. I have the
Okay,
question here.
can you see the question? Should we, teachers, take IELTS exam to prepare students for IELTS?
I think I do agree with this suggestion. Because I'm talking about myself. When I take part in IELTS, I see the challenges better. When I'm teaching my students, I felt it before, so I look for different ways to make it easier for my candidates, for my students or learners.
It's yeah, I'm really it's like if you can't swim, how you can teach to swim?
Definitely. Yeah, that's completely right. I say, if you ask me, I go for this. I mean, idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another question. Can you give the list of really helpful IELTS preparation resources? Because there are just a huge number of books, and
Right,
it's really
they're
difficult
not
to choose.
limited. I mean, as you said, there are lots of books um, by different, by different. I can say publications like Oxford, Cambridge, Longman. Uh, they're limitless. I mean, they can't be limited. I said um, a recent book by Cambridge, like Mindset. I really go for those books. They're perfect, really nice for test takers and teachers to teach. I'm not pretty sure. Have you taught those books? I mean, the Mindset or Complete IELTS. There are a lot of sources, or the books. I mean, the Cambridge test from number 1 to number 15.
We're short in time a little bit, Miss Eva.
So this is the last question.
Yeah.
What kind of books? Actually, I was a participant of the previous IELTS instructor course. I'm not an IELTS instructor, and I've never prepared any candidates for IELTS. But anyway, what I can tell you now, after taking that course, I'm ready to take IELTS exam because I know all the strategies, I know all the tips, I would say even tricks how to do that. And I think that after taking my IELTS exam, I will start preparing my candidates, my students, I say. And yeah, if you want, you can join our IELTS instructor course, and there our trainer will share all the resources with you. Actually, he knows. For me, it seems that he knows everything and even more about IELTS preparation. So, guys, it seems that we have to finish this webinar because we are out of time. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you all participants.
Farhad Mollaee, thank you very much. Thank you. That you,
Sir, you're welcome.
you really gave. I mean, very.
Mr. Samad, may I say something?
Yeah, sure, please.
I want to thank you and Evan SR to provide this opportunity for me. In this webinar. I really thank you.
Thank you very much. You're more than welcome. We're going to meet you again and again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you.